Hello everyone, this is Surya from Document360 team, and I'm the co-host of today's webinar. First of all, thank you all for taking the time off your busy schedule and joining us. So we're excited to host Calum Gale with us, who's a product expert at Document360. So to give a brief introduction about Calum, so with over 8 years of experience in the tech space and 3 years dedicated to knowledge management, Calum has helped countless technical writing teams optimize their software documentation workflows and streamline customer support. So in today's session, Callum will be exploring on how you can take your software documentation to the next level with tips and tricks. So he'll also be walking you through some of the best practices for content creation and management, ways to streamline review and approval cycles, and main how to leverage AI-powered insights to enhance accuracy, consistency, and relevance. So without further ado, Callum, the stage is all yours.
So yeah, hello everyone and welcome. It's thrilling to see so many of you joining us today. And we're all here because we share a passion for clear, effective communication in the world of software. So let's just take a moment to reflect on how software documentation has been approached in the past. Traditionally, it has often been a reactive process, sometimes even an afterthought. We dive into the code once it was written, wrestle with complex systems to create those guides that users hopefully found helpful. And the process was often linear, time consuming, and sometimes felt disconnected from the rapid pace of software development. So think about the endless hours spent manually updating documentation with each code change, or the frustration of users struggling with outdated or incomplete guides. But the landscape is changing dramatically. The introduction of AI, especially tools like ChatGPT, they've revolutionized how we approach documentation. We're moving from a world of manual effort and reactive updates through to one of intelligent automation and proactive content creation. So this isn't about replacing technical writers or documentation specialists. It's about augmenting their abilities, freeing the teams up from repetitive tasks, and enabling us to focus on, higher level strategic work, improving clarity, ensuring accuracy, and truly understanding our users' needs. So today we'll explore how to leverage these powerful tools to not just create good documentation, but great documentation. Documentation that truly empowers users, reduces support costs and tickets, and ultimately contributes to the success of the software itself. So let's begin by solidifying our understanding of why software documentation is so crucial in the first place. It's easy to think of documentation as just another task, but in reality, it underpins almost every aspect of successful software adoption and its use. So firstly, documentation provides that essential user guidance. It's the bridge that connects users to your software's capabilities, helping them understand how to navigate the interface, helping them, unlock the full potential of the product and accomplish specific tasks. Think of it as like a GPS for your software, guiding users to their own destination with ease and confidence. But without those clear instructions, users are left to wander, leading to frustration and, worst case scenarios, ultimately abandonment. Secondly, documentation is critical for knowledge retention. So software evolves rapidly, and with it, the expertise of the development team. Comprehensive documentation captures this knowledge, breaks it down, and ensures that it's not lost when team members move on or when the software undergoes significant changes. This creates a stable knowledge base that can be accessed for years to come. Then thirdly, documentation plays a vital role in problem solving. When users encounter issues, well-written documentation can provide those immediate solutions, reducing the burden on support teams, as well as empowering users to resolve problems independently. Detailed troubleshooting guides, FAQs, and error message explanations can significantly decrease, support requests and allow your support team to, focus on driving growth and, innovating rather than putting out small fires that could be answered through effective documentation. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, documentation facilitates, improved communication. It ensures that everyone from developers to marketers to end users are on the same page regarding the software's features, functionality, and its overall intended use. This shared understanding fosters collaboration, reduces misunderstandings, and ultimately leads to a better overall experience. And according to a study by the Technical Writers of America, companies with high quality documentation experience up to a 25% reduction in support costs and a 15% increase in user satisfaction. So just imagine what impact those metrics would have on your business if you could achieve the same. So now that we've established the critical importance of documentation, let's explore how AI and structured workflows are revolutionizing the way we create and deliver it. So the integration of AI into our documentation workflows isn't just purely automation. It's about achieving higher levels of accuracy, consistency, and efficiency, all while ensuring the accessibility for all users. Consider the power of AI-powered reviews, for example. These intelligent systems can easily analyze your content for grammatical errors, stylistic inconsistencies, and even technical inaccuracies, providing immediate feedback and suggestions for improvement, whether you're an experienced documentation specialist or it's your first week on the job. In fact, studies show that implementing AI-powered tools can lead to around a 30% improvement in content accuracy. And this not only enhances the quality of your documentation, but also saves you valuable time and effort. Furthermore, a structured documentation workflow is essential for streamlining the entire process, from content creation all the way through to publication. By defining clear roles, responsibilities, and processes, you can eliminate bottlenecks, reduce errors, and ensure that documentation is delivered on time and within budget, thanks to having that scalable foundation. So teams with structured documentation, workflow experience, on average, a 29% efficiency boost. This translates to more time for strategic initiatives, innovation, and collaboration, but accuracy and efficiency are only part of the equation. In 2025, we also need to be hyper aware of accessibility standards and guidelines. Specifically for technical documentation, the EEA's new digital content guidelines are based on the website content accessibility guidelines. These are globally accepted standards for online compliance, and these directives are vital because, as the World Health Organization estimates, 1.3 billion, or around 16% of the world's population, experience significant disability. Ensuring our content is accessible, that is not just ethical, but it's a legal requirement in many regions. So compliance here, is a key thing to keep in mind. So now let's dive into the best practices that underpin effective documentation, content creation, and management. These principles are essential for creating documentation that is not only accurate and accessible, but also engaging and user-friendly. So first and foremost, we have structured writing. So this is the foundation of clear, concise documentation. And by using consistent terminology, following a logical structure, and breaking down complex information into smaller, more manageable chunks, you can make your content easier to read, understand, and retain for the users. Then we move on to information hierarchy. So a well-defined information hierarchy helps users quickly find the information they need. Use headings, subheadings, bullet points, numbered lists to organize your content, create that clear visual structure, and not affect discoverability as everything scales. And then with regards to a user-centric approach, always keep your users in mind when creating documentation. You need to understand their needs, their level of expertise, their goals, and writing a clear, concise, and jargon-free language that resonates with your target audience. Around 70% of users abandon software due to, poor documentation, not enough support, and this itself highlights the critical importance of having a user-centric approach. Finally, we have a version control. So software is constantly evolving, and so should your documentation. Implement a robust version control system to track those changes, manage the updates, and ensure that users always have access to the most up-to-date information. And again, studies show that companies using version control systems experience a 40% reduction in documentation errors. And the beauty here is you can always roll back to previous versions if needs be. But it's not just about the text, right? The most engaging and user-friendly documentation includes all forms of media, such as videos, schematic diagrams, depending on the nature of your business, and other images to help visual learners best navigate different products. So as companies publish an increasing amount of documentation digitally, responsiveness for multimedia content becomes especially important. So all kinds of users need to be able to access documentation from different devices, be it a mobile phone, tablet, laptop, and in field services, this becomes even more important as 99.5% of field technicians use mobile devices on the job. Yet they often face inconsistent experiences across devices when trying to access different media formats. Poor responsiveness delays intervention, leading to user frustration, product downtimes, and potentially safety hazards in the worst case scenarios. So in 2025, all users need to be able to access content in any format from any device for every product. And responsiveness across all devices is no longer optional, it's a fundamental expectation. So finally, let's address the critical process of reviewing and approval. This is often a bottleneck in the documentation workflow, but with the right tools and strategies, you can streamline the entire process and ensure that your documentation is accurate, complete, and compliant. So here are some elements to incorporate into your review and your approval cycle this year. We'll start off with automation. So once a form or data is submitted, the software should automatically push it to the next step, which may be review or requests for information from another source. This streamlines the approval service, reduces manual intervention, and speeds up workflows. Next would be the customizable workflows. Visual designers will be able to drag and drop functionality, which allows you to create simple or complex approval processes. And this feature makes it easy for everyone on the team to understand, modify those workflows without the need for an IT team or coding, and ensuring the software fits your specific business needs. And then something else equally important would be real-time tracking as well, with collaborative feedback. So stakeholders often want to know where a process currently stands, and that real-time tracking of the stages and seeing who's working on what gives you access to insights and the process's status. So this feature enhances transparency and allows for quick intervention if bottlenecks occur. And finally, your software doesn't have to exist in isolation. It should be able to work with all your other tools that your team currently use. It could be your support team to help maximize its performance. So easy integration with existing systems and accessibility ensures a seamless workflow across those different platforms. And by implementing these strategies we just discussed, you can automate those repetitive tasks, eliminate manual intervention, and facilitate those seamless communication and collaboration between reviewers, writers, and subject matter experts internally. Also, automatically route documentation for approval based on predefined rules, roles, conditions, ensuring that it meets all required standards and guidelines so that you can increase productivity without having any impact on, negative impact on quality at all. If anything, you're actually improving the quality by having these sort of fail-safe workflows and steps in place. So, without a structured approach, right, tracking changes, managing multiple contributors, and ensuring accuracy can quickly become overwhelming. And this is where leveraging the right documentation tool makes all of the difference. A well-equipped documentation platform should seamlessly integrate with the version control systems, ensuring every change is tracked, reviewed, and restored when it's needed. It eliminates the risk of conflicting edits, outdated content, and version and chaos. But in 2025, version control simply isn't enough. AI-powered features are transforming how documentation is created, updated, and maintained. And AI can automatically enhance content quality. It can adjust the tone. It can summarize lengthy articles, suggest metadata for SEO, and even auto-generate FAQs or charts based on content trends. So adopting a tool with AI-driven workflows reduces manual efforts whilst keeping documentation fresh and accurate. Studies show that teams using AI-assisted documentation tools experience a 30% increase in efficiency and a 40% reduction in review time, allowing technical writers to focus on high-value content creation rather than tedious administrative tasks. And for organizations scaling their software products, an AI-powered documentation solution ensures consistency, improves discoverability, and accelerates content delivery. It's time to move beyond those traditional static documentations and embrace intelligent dynamic content management. So now we've gone through that, I will just quickly share my other screen, and then we will move into a quick demo of Document360. Perfect. So now let's explore how Document360 can implement whatever that was discussed earlier and revolutionize the way that your team creates and manages documentation. First, let's talk about how writers can efficiently, categorize and organize their articles. And these can be, release notes, standard operating procedures, feature overviews. Essentially, what we do is we provide a structured framework where you can create predefined categories and folders. Now, this means that everything is organized logically, making it easy for your end users to find what they need. without frustration. So again, these is the foldering system on the left-hand side. Categories is just a term we use for foldering. And again, you can organize this in up to 7 sub-levels as well. So you can get really granular, helps with the discoverability of your content as well, and ensures that by, through organizing it logically, it's easy for your end users to find what they need without frustration. Again, you can change the permissions on this. So you can, if you are using credential-based logins, you can essentially isolate the content for particular readers or reader groups or groups of readers to show only certain content to certain users. And these also ring true for the search as well. Now, one of the most groundbreaking features to highlight here is the AI writer as well. So imagine cutting your content creation time from hours to just minutes. With our AI writer, not only can you generate content quickly from scratch, but it also understands context, tone, and allows you to adjust this and the depth of the writing as needed. So whether you need a concise summary or a detailed article, or simply just change the tone, the AI can handle that for you. So how you do this is again, just select the text or the content block in question, go down to Eddie, which is our AI assistant. You can rename this whatever you'd like. And we have multiple options such as making the text longer, making it shorter, improving it, which would check the sentence structure, the grammar, the punctuation, the length, the language used, and then optimize the content based off that. You can also change the tones between this, so it'd be as simple as clicking on this, seeing what it would generate it to, and then you can provide feedback. Yes, this was great. No, it wasn't. We can regenerate it, or we can go through and split the sentence, change the voice. There's multiple options here, and the whole idea is it allows you to focus on creating the content. And what's coming out soon as well will be that ability to, eventually create your own tone at your companies as well. So moving on, let's quickly discuss. Oh, actually, before we move on to that, one other thing here to notice is the workflow status. So we've been talking a lot about workflows so far, and as you can see here, there are 4 steps. We have the draft stage, the in review, approval, and then finally the publish stage as well. So you can lock custom roles within Document360 to have people responsible for, reviewing the technical accuracy, then removing, improving and checking the grammatical accuracy, the punctuation before finally publishing it too. So again, you know that nothing will get accidentally published by someone who isn't meant to publish because they simply won't have permissions to do so. And you'll know that all content that has gone out has gone through these steps within the workflow itself. And you can create your own customized workflows. We know every business is different. So again, you can use our flexible platform to shape this exactly how you'd like. You can just hit create a workflow status, put in a name for that, put in a description so everyone understands, as you can see here, what this step is for. For example, we could add a localization step, check translation, and then we just hit add, and then that goes in there. You can drag and drop, you can delete, but again, you can create your own custom workflows here. So moving on to API documentation. Document360 also allows you to build API documentation in a way that's incredibly user-friendly. They can actually test the API endpoints directly from within the knowledge base site. And this feature means developers can validate their integration seamlessly whilst having it all related, in the same place with the rest of the documentation too. And from a management perspective as well, you'll be managing this all through the same portal, the same interface. You've got the same category structures down here. You can generate these APIs from URLs, from an API definition, from a CI/CD flow as well. And then again, with the source settings, we support open. So that's it. We'll go in here. We support open API formats, including 3.0, 2.0, and Postman. And then, as you can see, just through clicking add there, it has now added a whole unpublished lot from my JSON file. So in just a couple of clicks, you can have everything ready to go. Then if we open the site itself, you will see we'll go into the API documentation. And within here, we've got the same structure and folder. You can see the type of the requests, as well as the try it samples on the right-hand side, the best-in-class 3-pane view, any errors associated, as well as the code samples in various languages as well. So again, by being able to manage this all in the same location, you're really saving time and also collecting all the analytics in one space as well. So another crucial aspect is the version control system we have within Document360. This allows your team to track changes made to articles over time. So if you ever need to revert to a previous version, you can do that effortlessly. It's all about ensuring the accuracy and reliability of your documentation. So again, if we go down here, you'll be able to see the revision history on each article, and you'll be able to see how this changes. So if you have a published document and you want to edit it, you don't want to edit that live on the fly, so to speak. So we fork the article, we copy it, and then we create that as a draft. That then gets edited, goes through the workflow stages in which you can assign, due dates, as well as it to certain team members. So it pops up in the dashboards, their to-do lists, or in an inline comment as well. And you can also see the workflow history on who's drafted what, at what stage, when it was created, so on and so forth. But the real power here is the ability to, see how documents change over time in just a couple of clicks. So again, you can swap between the various versions. And as you can see, everything that's been removed has been struck through in red. Then all the formatting changes are highlighted in blue, and all additional text is added in green. So as we can see, these are the differences between version 1 and version 3. It just provides you with a very quick way to assess the changes in any documents rather than having them open side by side trying to play spot the difference. And then another exciting thing to show you here would be our AI search. So again, this is Eddie. You can rename it what you'd like. But the whole idea here is, essentially gone are the days of manual searching through endless content. With this AI search, you'll be able to receive results in seconds, and this intelligent system essentially fetches the most relevant information and generates answers based on the user queries, streamlining the entire experience without making sure users can find exactly what they're looking for, tailored specifically to the contents of their question. So if we go in here and we type in SSO, for example, we're going to pull up all these terms, whether it's in the title, the slug text, the actual body of the article itself. If we're talking to an AI assistant, we're going to talk to it as if it's a person. We're collecting analytics behind this too, so you can understand how people are consuming your documentation and what specifically they are looking for. So again, by getting them to use prompts and to write with an AI search instead, you're collecting a lot more information to analyze any gaps in the user's knowledge or any gaps in your documentation, which ultimately can also dictate, product development strategies, sales strategies, as well as marketing strategies. But going back to my point, instead of just typing the SSO, I'll type in, how do I configure SSO with Okta? And then what Eddie will do, based on my access permission, so what I have the rights to view, it will then generate an answer from my knowledge base, specifically tailored to the context of the question. So, and then what it will also do is provide a footnote and citation for these as well. My internet's being a little slow today. And then off the back of this, again, you'll be able to have a conversation with Eddie. You'll be able to, understand essentially, what users are looking for, and then be able to optimize the responses off the back of this as well. So that is essentially our AI search, Document360, all the editors, how we're helping companies with, optimizing workflows and all their processes. So if we quickly hop on back to the PowerPoint. So now that we've had a chance to see Document360 in action, let's delve into how, we can enhance user experiences through effective documentation. So first and foremost, we've got the user-friendly design, which is fundamental for any documentation platform. With Document360, you'll notice that it emphasizes a clear layout and intuitive navigation. This focus ensures that users can easily access the information they need without feeling overwhelmed. And in today's, fast-paced world, convenience is key, and a well-designed interface can make all the difference in how effectively users engage with that content. Then we move on to the second layer, which is clear and concise language. Document 360 empowers writers to create documentation that speaks, directly to the audience. By using simple language, avoiding technical jargon, and including glossary terms, you can broaden accessibility for all users, regardless of their expertise. Tailoring content to your audience not only makes it easier to understand, but also fosters a sense of connection and trust, which enhances the overall user experience. And then finally, let's touch on the importance of visual aids and cues. So as we saw in the demo, Document 360 supports, integration of images, diagrams, GIFs, and videos directly into your documentation. This is crucial because visual elements can significantly boost, the understanding and engagement of your users. They simplify complex ideas and keep the content dynamic, ensuring that users remain interested and informed. So then now let's shift our focus on to measuring the impact of documentation strategies. To start, we see a statistic on user engagement, where we track interactions users have with your documents. This includes metrics like page views, time spent on various articles, and shows that by optimizing these, we can improve user engagement by up to 25%. Keeping an eye on this metric allows you to understand which topics resonate the most with your audience and where adjustments might be necessary to enhance clarity and interaction. Next, we have knowledge retention, and this is a crucial metric, showcasing how well users actually retain the information that they access. And by accessing user understanding through tools like surveys, quizzes, and knowledge tests, we can see a potential improvement of up to 13%. And this may seem modest, but it underscores the importance of not just providing information, but ensuring that the users truly grasp that information as well. After all, retaining knowledge is key to improving user proficiency and satisfaction. And then finally, let's discuss, support ticket reduction. This is where we can see, a remarkable impact with a reduction of 62% in support tickets when documentation is improved. So an effective knowledge base significantly cuts down the needs for users to reach out for help as they can find answers independently. This not only elevates user satisfaction, but also frees up your support team to focus on more complex issues. So, as we wrap up today's presentation, let's reflect on the core takeaways and the immense value of building software documentation with Document 360. So first, we've seen how Document 360 empowers teams to create a user-friendly experience through intuitive design, clear language, and engaging visual cues. These elements are essential in ensuring that your documentation is not only accessible, but also effective in meeting user needs. Next, we discuss key metrics for measuring the impact of your documentation strategies. By focusing on user engagement, knowledge retention, and support ticket reduction, you can gain valuable insights that guide improvements and drive better user experience. So ultimately, the value of building software documentation with Document 360 extends far beyond having, simply a repository of information. It's about creating a comprehensive knowledge base that enhances user understanding, reduces support overload, and fosters engagement. So by leveraging the features and insights that Document 360 offers, you lay the groundwork for transparency and empowerment within your organization, allowing users to find answers quickly and efficiently. And this not only improves user satisfaction, but also helps you drive your business forward. So thank you all for your time today. I hope you're inspired to implement some of these strategies yourself and unlock the full potential of your documentation efforts with Document 360.
Thank you, Calum. So we'll be back again with another session soon, and have an amazing day ahead and stay safe. Thank you all.